Hey guys, welcome Gardens the Untold Story. We're talking remineralization. Now that's a mouthful, Andy. Help me out here. Where are we going today, brother?
A friend of mine named Don Weaver wrote a book called Remineralization. Hi, Victor, called Remineralization. And he explains how the earth naturally remineralizes itself. And we talked about it a little bit last time. The glaciers come and they grind everything down, the powder, and then they go back again. It takes a long time, sometimes millions of years, but then the earth is remineralized. The earth should have all the minerals it needs for human. It does for all human life, for plant life, for tree life. Let me click on the comment section because I always want to see what's going on. You know, we have everything that we need, and the biology have evolved to get us that. To get us the minerals that we need. And to me, there are there's two things going on, and one is fairly obvious. Oh, you need minerals, so you can build your bones, you can build your brain, you can build your nose, your legs, you can build everything that you need, because you need these physical minerals. And the biology has evolved for that. But and that's important, okay? That's important. But if you have a body and you're like a zombie, that's not very good. So I explained a little bit last show. It was the last show where we talked about energy, and that what really happens is that the minerals absorb these various different cosmic rays that shoot through the earth. Yeah. So that is, to me, the most important thing than anything else, because what they're really doing is that they're connecting us to. There's a consciousness, a universal consciousness that's everywhere. Yeah. Right. And so we're connecting to that. We are connected to that. Finished looking at a movie called The Field. So they call it the field. The consciousness is the field. The earth has electromagnetic field. So the real reason of, hi Silly, hi everybody. The real important reason we do that. So we have our own electromagnetic field. Yeah. Just like the earth does. It's identical. It's identical field, except the earth has it's a big giant thing with a giant enormous electromagnetic field. If we didn't have the minerals in the earth, we wouldn't have the electromagnetic field. If we didn't have the minerals in our body, we would not have the electromagnetic field. Okay. And if we don't have an electromagnetic field, I think you would be dead. I don't think you could survive. Your body would not be the same thing. I mean, it's a weird thing not to have an electromagnetic field. Because even sick people have electromagnetic fields, even though they look weird, they're not normal, they're not healthy, right? So maybe it would be if you don't have a proper electromagnetic field, a strong, healthy magnetic field. Yeah. That's what it really comes down. You do not have a strong, healthy magnetic field. And if you don't have a strong, healthy magnetic field, you know what happens? Make a guess.
Your body falls apart and you die?
Okay, that's the horrible end part. But another stronger field will take its place, will invade your magnetic field. So around the earth, you have a strong electromagnetic field, but there are other kinds of electromagnetic, and you can name them, from 5G to microwaves. These are all electromagnetic field, whether they're what the phone uses, what the military. I was living next door to a military base, and they have these giant radars. It disrupts our electromagnetic field.
Are you talking about the DARPA radars?
Some of them are. They're like they're not. It's not a radar. It's a form of radar, and it's infrared or it's ultraviolet. What's the other way that people use to communicate with the military?
Well, they use a CB radio. They use radio waves.
Radio waves. Well, I've forgotten the name of it now, but basically the military has a short wave. It's like a short wave or infrared or something. It's a weird spectrum that they use specifically to communicate with. Okay. And by law, you're not allowed to live within a certain range, have homes within a certain range of that. Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, It only works for wealthy people because on poor people, they don't care. You can have this base. They build a city right next door to the military base. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
like 3 miles, and you get the electromagnetic waves, the beams that they shoot out, and it really
Mhm.
disrupts your electromagnetic field, which makes it even harder for a person to be healthy and to think normal. You need to have an electromagnetic field so that first of all your systems in your body are working. They will not work if you don't have an electromagnetic field that's strong.
Yeah.
Understand? That's one reason why people like being grounded.
Mhm.
It strengthens their electromagnetic field. So when you're
And
grounded, you're actually part of the earth. What you do is you give up your small electromagnetic field and you're living within the giant electromagnetic field of the earth. One of the things that microwave, there you go. That's it. Microwave. There you go. Thank
thanks,
you.
Ghetto.
That's it. And that stuff is like really intense because
Yeah.
one side because it's a road called Mulholland Road. It runs up into the mountains, and they have what they did was because they couldn't have people houses right in front of these antennas, they built a golf course, and
Oh,
they had
yeah.
this. So it's okay to play golf while you're getting bursted with it, right? Obviously, it's okay.
I'm getting cooked while I'm playing golf. Yeah.
Exactly right. So when I would drive down this road and I would stop and I would look at it, I go, holy, and you can tell when it's working. You do not want to go out there at night. You certainly don't want
Right.
to go do any kind of psychedelics or anything because you will see these electromagnetic waves, and they shoot
Yeah.
straight at you. You go, holy shit, duck, and you can't duck. It's a giant, and that really it shocks your body. See, for me, it's a
Yeah.
little different because I learned how to strengthen my electromagnetic waves. There are many ways, many crystals. I've been watching you guys. I know what you guys are up to because you talk about all kinds of really cool things. I just and again, I apologize for not jumping on with you guys as well. I mean, the past 2 weeks I've been in bed for about 6 days of those because I
Mhm.
get microwave, I get microwave brain, and it's
Migraine headaches in your brain. That's it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, microwave headaches, microwave brain. So, so the real importance is that. See, animals don't have to worry about electromagnetic fields because they are already always connected to the earth. So they actually have the earth as the electromagnetic field. Us
Yeah.
humans are 5G towers are the same thing in the sense that they send these waves of energy, and some of them are directed, some are just radiate out. Okay, some of them just
Mhm.
radiate out. And the ones that radiate out are a little bit easier to handle with because they're not as concentrated, but the ones that are directed, yeah, right. So that's exactly it. The power lines, you're not allowed to have any buildings in your house. There are no schools there, so they sell them to nurseries.
Yeah.
And me, when I ever drive underneath the electromagnetic wave really fast, I go, oh, okay.
Oh, your hair stands up on end, Andy.
Exactly right. So some people are like me, are real sensitive to because I've always been real sensitive to energy. But
Yeah.
it screws up your brain considerably. I mean, it's bad enough that we're already eating junk food. It's bad enough that the food is CRAP. That's awful because you're not getting the minerals from that. So you're getting to be dumber in your minerals aspect. I mean, your minerals are not there. So their auras are very weak.
Mhm.
Any of these fields just do havoc on and they go right into your cells, into your genes.
I think we have one of those magnetic fields around you right now, Andy, because you keep fading in and out like you're on a different plane of existence, you know.
Unfortunately, I am. Unfortunately, I'm on we are also multi-dimensional beings, and it's real easy for me to go from one dimension to the other. A lot of times, it's just
You're phasing in and out, Andy. We're
did you see,
losing you. We're
did
losing
you,
you.
did you see that? It was like I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't do that to you guys. I shouldn't do that to you guys. But there we go. Stop it. Stop it. I'm not going to do it. Yes, I am. I can't do it. I'm going to do it now. Close my eyes. Am I gone? Okay, no. So
Well,
animals,
the
animals.
invisible gardener, you know.
Yes, human beings are very different than animals and other creatures. Beam me up, Scotty. Yeah, right. And he goes, that's one of the things I liked about Star Trek was the beaming aspect of it because you
Yeah.
would the teleportation, right? a teleporter,
Mhm.
was really cool. How to re-energize, take the molecules apart, put them back together again. And that's something you can actually do, but you do it in a slightly different way. You do
Yeah.
it in a slightly different way in the sense that your consciousness can travel the universe, travel the scientists are going, gee, what happens when you go into a black hole?
Yeah.
Cities are open air microwaves now. Oh, geez. And they're getting worse, worse and worse and
Yeah.
worse. People are not protecting themselves from all this kind of electromagnetic interference. It's besides the point that the sun, for example, does this trip on us every once in a while. Recently, maybe a few days ago, had enormous bursts, went right through the earth. It shut down a bunch of stuff because it would have solar flare, which is an electromagnetic thing. I tried my best, Captain. I'm not a doctor. I mean, I'm a mechanic,
Whichever, yeah, yeah.
Whichever.
Well, I know that the sun has put off some huge bursts. Like I tracked the Schumann resonance,
Yeah,
and there's some wild stuff that has happened. Like that earthquake in Japan is
yeah,
directly related to a solar burst off
yeah,
of the sun.
yeah,
We've got the Stephen Burns. He's a geophysicist. I follow him and what he's talking about. It's the frequencies and the waveforms that are happening. Like you were talking about the magnetosphere around our planet. It's really being compressed by all this solar radiation and particles that are flying at us from the sun right now. So in a lot of ways, that could be part of your problem with your headaches, Andy, is
yeah.
those waveforms of energy. But we're supposed to be talking about
Right, right.
remineralization,
So
you
the
know.
when we talk about green minerals, we also glad you brought up frequencies because each mineral vibrates at a certain frequency. It's also a
Yeah.
certain color. And so what really happens is when you have a strong electromagnetic field and you have all the trace minerals, you're vibrating at a certain frequency. If you have
Hmm.
any minerals missing, you're vibrating at a different frequency. See, so and it's important to be in tuned into the cosmic energy, so to speak, because that's really our goal in life. It's always any living being wants. Trees don't have to worry about it. They're already like sap. I'm there, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This guy did the field. He says I came up to the tree, I was hugging it, and he asked the tree, "What makes you so powerful?" And the tree says, "Because I know I am a tree."
Yeah.
Right?
And
And,
know
and
my place in the universe.
ex-
Ghetto hippie wants us to go back here. Concern be an influence.
Yes, that's. Where is this guy anyway? Is
It's
that
ghetto hippie too.
you're so cool, man. Yeah, of course it does because we're industry. We're sending out these incredible waves
Hmm.
that will affect all living things. It affects our genetic makeup. It affects our consciousness. It affects our brain. You see, and it's
Plants,
and
the
plants,
animals.
all the creatures like that, they all do. And even if you're living in the middle of a forest, nobody around for zillion miles, you're still going to get affected. I was blown away when I was told that even a man in Africa who's never seen civilization, living off somewhere, yeah, he's getting radiated by the satellites. He has a cell phone. He can talk to somebody on the satellites, and he's still getting it.
Yeah.
And so in the forest, it's very different because you are living within the electromagnetic field of the forest.
Right.
You see, you live, and you actually, if you tune in enough, so to speak, because you can vibrate at any frequency you want to, vibrate at
Hmm.
the frequency of the tree. And if you have all the trace minerals, you can vibrate at the frequency of the tree because the tree needs all the same trace minerals we do. It's no coincidence we all need the same trace minerals. The bugs, the insects. Bugs, insects, trees, stuff like they don't have any problem getting the trace minerals if you get humans out of the way. Right?
Yeah.
You take humans
Yeah.
out of the way, all the trees will get all the trace minerals they need, and they've done that for billions of years. All the animals,
Hmm.
that's what they did, right? Whether they knew it or not, they would get all the trace minerals they need, and they would vibrate at the frequency they need to tune in. That's what the
Hmm.
key of us, all ancient civilizations. The pyramids. You know what the pyramids is? It's a certain type of minerals that vibrate at a certain frequency. And the Schumann
Hmm.
resonance is a really cool way to understand what is going on with the frequencies of the earth and the frequencies of people. You know that, for
Right.
example, they have it's called like a group consciousness. We Animals, insects have an obvious group consciousness. They all have one consciousness. Trees, birds. Human beings have a group consciousness also. And we can literally connect with each other because we're also connected to the same field, the same consciousness. You see, right? Part of the problem is you cannot connect. We're fracked.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
Yeah, you didn't put it up. That's why I said fracked. And that's, to me, that's human beings. I was told are here to understand our purpose in this world, right? But that is not exactly right because our purpose in the world is just to be and to tune in,
to learn, to grow, to expand our understanding.
Right, we're here and we tune in and we do what it surrounds us to do, whether or not we, learning is a process of tuning in is a process of learning. See, right? So that's what to me is the most important thing to do. I personally would love to live on a tropical island, have everything I need food-wise, and I just drop out and tune in, and without doing the drugs. Without Timothy Leary would say, drop out and tune in. Well, that's what we do. We drop out and we tune in without the drugs, just by breathing in that. Because in the forest, trees get their trace minerals a lot, also from the air.
Exactly, like when Mother Nature blasts off a volcano and that goes up in the stratosphere, it goes around the planet, and those minerals that she blasts out of there are micronized, and they come down, land on the leaves and into the soil, and help to remineralize everything.
They're not only macronized, but they're energized. The amount of energy they get through the volcano is enormous. So when you insert you digest that, you're getting that same energy again. That's what we need. That's what we literally need. That's why we need all these trace minerals, is to start vibrating at that frequency where we can turn it.
Hey, Pembina.
Hey, man. That's a cool name. Pembina
River. And it's actually a river up here.
Oh, is it? Pembina River. Cool.
Yeah.
So one of the things I want to do more and more is talk about not only just gardening, but part of the reason why we deal with energy. Part of the reason why we're here. And one of the things I wanted to also say too is I met a scientist once. His name is Bill Callahan. He wrote "Tuning into Nature." Okay. A book he wrote a long time ago. And so I was giving a talk. I've been doing this for a long time, so I was talking about minerals and energy and stuff. He raised his hand. He said, "Do you know about ley lines? Do you know about meridians?"
Yeah.
I go, "Yeah," because that's what happens when the ley lines are lines of power that the magnetic field, they follow the magnetic field of the Earth, and where they meet, it's a collection of this power and this energy, and it also collects the minerals. The minerals are there, but in a different form, because you can absorb it through the energy. So, so in the whole environment is green and luscious, and the Tower of Power was done by ancient people. They used to say, well, because basically it's a giant tower, hundreds of feet up in the air with a little door up there, and they would say, well, this is the way the villagers would get away from the Vikings. They would go down, somehow they would get up there, and then everybody would get up there and raise a ladder behind them and let the Vikings pillage the village, and they would come down afterwards. But Bill Callahan did X-rays on these things, and they found that they were filled with crystals. And so, and he realized right away that this is basically an argon accumulator. Argon is organic energy.
Yeah, yeah.
That's being carried in the ionosphere. What does that say? Being carried in the ionosphere.
Being carried in the ionosphere changed the particles.
Exactly right. So the electromagnetic field and the gravity of the Earth is exactly what they do. They expel it into the ionosphere. They get charged. That's why the what do you get in up north? So the wavy things.
Oh, the northern lights. The
northern light. Those are charged particles.
Aurora borealis.
Aurora borealis.
And they're actually a southern borealis.
Those are charged particles.
Yeah.
And they just become materialized because they go through the electromagnetic field and the light and all that energy lets you see them. But we also have them all around us, and we eat it. We absorb. You can literally. There used to be a breath there and to suck it in. Oh yeah, that was good. but then I got tired of the junky air that we breathe now. But
Yeah, no doubt. Eh?
there's a big difference, and so
Yeah.
that's something that we really need, because my reason to be here is to be connected with nature, to be connected with everything. I don't
Hmm.
feel happy at all if I'm just sort of sitting here by myself and not connected at all. As a matter of fact, like you said, we would die. I would die.
Yeah.
I would literally blow up and go, what was that? I don't know. Some weird guy that was talking about energy, and who knows what happened. So I think I think he disappeared. But for practical purposes, it's really important not just to get, you know, especially if you're growing pot or anything else that's supposed to be for medicine.
Yeah.
Because the medicine itself, it's important that the medicine have the trace minerals in the right proportion that we
Yeah.
need, or the right energy that we need. That's the whole basis of, Bach flower remedies. You know what
Yeah.
Bach flower remedies are?
Hmm.
Are you familiar with Bach flower remedies?
Black powder.
Bach, like
Oh.
the da 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 Bach, B-A-C.
Oh, okay. The music Bach. Okay.
Bach, and he developed a form of healing called Bach flower remedy.
Oh, I've never heard of that one. No.
Right. So he figured out that certain plants have certain vibrations, certain frequency, certain mineral, and he can duplicate it in the water or in the powder or in the pill or whatever. So he figured out how he transfer the frequency to something else. There you go. Lily, why don't you just sit here and get rid of this guy? You come over here, Lily. Come on out.
I know. Eh, right.
You're in our way. But that's exactly what. So a lot of people use Bach flower remedies because it's better than the guy selling the actual products. He should sell the frequency or the energy of the product,
Hmm.
which is really cool. And so I know you all talked about water, for example, structured water. Structured
Yeah.
water absorbs these frequencies if it's structured, and the frequency. So we talk about the particle and the wave. Well, that's what happens. The particle is the mineral, and the wave is the energy, and
Yeah.
they are the same. The frequency is the same. So the one end or the
Well,
other.
the what happens, I think, Andy, is the best way I've heard it explained is when you have enough particles that mesh together, they form the wave. Other than that, we don't see the wave if there isn't enough particles.
Of course, you don't have one particle riding the wave. You know, so
Well,
usually
it's that's what enough particles form the wave. It's like if you put enough humans on one side of a bridge, you're going to tip the bridge over. But if you only put one there, you're not going to tip the bridge. So there has to be enough particles in that going at that same direction, that same frequency to create the waveform.
right, exactly, and that's what we mean also too by when we say 1,000 Buddhas, or right now on the planet, there has to be a certain number of people
That
on the same wave to form a wave, a conscious wave. There has to be enough people
yes, yeah.
together to form a conscious wave. See, here I go again. I have to be quiet. You know, so
When you all vibrate at the same frequency, all of a sudden consciousness changes. Hey, but
exactly right.
we had a question from Ghetto on Oregon or Orgonite, but it's what I've seen of it. They take resin, crystals, shards of metal, like shavings from a drill press or something like that. Put it all together to create Orgonite, and you can tune it.
Okay, organite is different than
Mm-hmm.
organic or other than an argon accumulator. So argon is energy. It's a specific type of energy. They call it argon. He called it argon, but there are many different names for it in different religions.
Mm-hmm.
Chi, prana. This is a consciousness. But argonite is a specific combination of metals that you put together, like you said. See,
Okay.
so it's a slightly different thing, and then you can tune that. Of course, you can tune it to. You can
Yeah.
actually change the frequency, because it will accept whatever frequency you give it.
Yeah.
This is to learn how to do that, how to give it a frequency. You can use. I've used a zapper. I've used many different frequency generators. Lots of really cool ways to do it. That's why the music that I write has these frequencies in it, because I learned how to use the frequencies to carry the energy. The frequencies will be my wave, so to speak, and they carry the
Yeah.
energy. Okay, here's another one. I can't read that one, Lily. Put it up so I can read it. There you go.
Uh, Seen a video of an opening of a bridge where they opened up to the public to walk in it before traffic. Before long, the people were in step, and it affected the bridge. I think that was in England,
Right.
and they found that the people ended up being synchronized in their steps on
Exactly.
moving
Exactly.
forward. And yeah, it really set off that resonance frequency on the bridge and almost destroyed the bridge.
Exactly. When they were first building these bridges in San Francisco, they found that
Yeah,
when when they started vibrating at a certain frequency, the bridge would be a danger of collapsing
yeah.
because it
It's like
was
the Tacoma Narrows Bridge that did collapse.
yeah, right. And there's also some bridges in China that
Yeah,
there's a glass bridge in China that you can't go on it anymore because people start harmonizing together in a sense of frequency that literally cracks the glass.
oh,
And
yeah, that
it's really weird. So we live in a world of energy, and we need to understand that we are energy beings. And in order for us to continue being energy beings, we need to harmonize, vibrate, and we can't vibrate without the minerals.
yeah.
So you may have the consciousness, but if you don't have that tuning fork, the consciousness is a thing, you hit it, right? The tuning fork is
Mhm.
what vibrates.
Well,
And
didn't you say you build tuning forks and you had you made a whole bunch of them, Andy?
I don't build it, but I have a whole bunch of them.
Oh, okay, okay.
I have lots of tuning forks which I use in the music.
Yeah,
I learned to because you can see the human range of vision is very short, but you can actually train your vision to go wider. Wider range. You can see infrared and ultraviolet. You can see that. Therefore, you can see, uh, you can hear, color, and see sound.
yeah, and that's something that you can do, my friend.
I
That's
started that
and
way. That's what helped me at the beginning. I didn't understand other stuff, and so I was just writing music that harmonized with me. Then I
yeah.
realized birds were going like this, and the bees were going like this. Oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And the trees were humming. So I go. So originally, when I did the music, it still is. It's for the garden. I tell people this is for the
Yeah.
garden. Play it for the garden. But I found that our genetic makeup is identical to what's going on the planet with trees and plants and everything. So what we do for ourselves is also very good for should be right very good for everything else. Right now it's a little weird because the things we eat, the things we do, cause us not to be in harmony, not to vibrate, and then we get sick.
Now,
I,
Ghetto Hippie here is saying you can taste color.
that's right. You can actually eat it.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how to eat color, and you realize that color translates to a certain mineral, and you can literally not just imagine, but you can concentrate, and you can what is it? What you call when you transform, mutate. You
Transmutate. Okay.
mutate the color into the physical energy that you need. That's exactly what music does. When I do the music, there are computer programs that will translate it into color. You can see
Yeah.
the color of the music and the frequency of the color of the music. And
Now, does that computer generated one match what you see, Andy, when you see
yes,
that?
yes, exactly. I have this program called Acid, so it allows me to write music based on color. So I get and use a paintbrush to
Yeah.
paint it with. And then when I paint it, I use the certain colors, and I would paint it, and that turns. And I'll tell the computer can tell me what frequency that painting is at. So
Sweet.
it'll say this is a certain frequency, and you actually see it's like an oscilloscope.
Yeah.
It'll actually oscilloscope just shows you the frequencies and what
Mm-hmm.
is harmonizing, what frequency level is harmonizing at. But the
Yeah.
computer is so cool that the computer can actually
Can it?
translate it into color as well. So you can
Mm-hmm.
translate it into color. And there's a program called The Field that was talking about water and how water reacts to sound as well. You see,
Yeah.
because water is basically a bunch of tiny tuning forks, and they all start vibrating at the frequency that they hear.
Yeah.
See, it changes. That's what structured water really is. They all are
Mm-hmm.
structured. That's why it's called structured, because they're all
Yeah.
vibrating at the same level and they're tuning into together. All of them are on the same all frequency together, rather than a bunch of different frequencies all over the place. Right? So that's,
Yeah.
and to me, there's nothing more important than that, because that's the key to health. When I work on trees that are sick with pests and diseases, I screw up their frequency level so they don't know what the heck is going on anymore. The bugs are tuned in to certain frequencies. They've learned this
Yeah.
frequency is good for us, bad for them, but they're weak. This makes them weak and food for me. Most
Yeah.
people, when I talk to them, I try not to get too far ahead of that, because people go, he's a little, a little bit out there. Don't.
Well, and so Ghetto Happy has the perfect one. Sounds like Andy is talking about the brain, or at least his fried brain. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I always talk about the brain. My brain is a little different than most brain, and I
Yeah.
don't mind saying it, because it's I see things differently, I hear things differently, and I always have. I formed a church in 1970 teaching people about this. And that was 1970.
Yeah.
And that's how I got the name Invisible Gardener, because it's invisible energy. I was going to call it Invisible Energy Man, but that didn't sound too cool. Right? That doesn't sound too good. And to me, invisible gardening means you're dealing with the invisible energies. They're not really invisible. You see them around you all the time. You hear them, you feel them. You definitely feel it. You can take a bowl of water, sit it down, you're going to see the ripples coming up all the time. You're going, what the heck is that? Right? It isn't cars going by. Right? You can, there are lots of, because water is so cool that it harmonizes with anything around it. So you go in the middle of a forest, have a ball sitting there, and you'll see the ripples start to appear. And if you could understand what the ripples are saying, because the ripples always form a specific pattern that they see. And it's like that book. It's not too. The book is called The Miracle of Water. The water is an image of water. The name of the book, look it up, guys. The image of water. You know how? Didn't we talk about this guy in Japan has an electron microscope?
Yamamoto.
Right, and he wrote 2 books called The Images of Water,
Mm-hmm.
and he used it to look at the flakes, snowflakes. They look like snowflakes of the water, and he would do certain things to change the frequency of the water, and the image would change. And I find that you can, and you know how he structured water. He meditated to it. He group of people got around the water and meditated and changed the frequency. So our consciousness, we can do that. Our consciousness can easily change the structure of water without even having to have any tools whatsoever. There's one of the things that I used to do, and I still do, but I do it like here in this new home I'm at. I'm in the process of energizing a force field around my home, which stops these different microwave. The problem is with, I have a cell phone. It doesn't work too well because I block all the 5G, right?
You're your own worst enemy, Andy.
Oh, I don't really. I don't really like that. I like the having all these fields around me. The last home I came from, I looked at my 5G, my Wi-Fi device, and it has 37 different Wi-Fis there. I'm going, holy cow! I would then each one of those range. Each one of them affects me. Can I use
Dr. Teal's?
You can use Epsom salt. I would not recommend you use it by itself. It's like when we had talked about using trace minerals, and for example, magnesium. Instead of using magnesium, you want to use magnesium along with calcium. Well, guess what? You want to use calcium along with the Epsom salts as well, because Epsom salts is magnesium. So you don't want to use the Epsom salts by itself. Epsom salts is such a tiny. You can use it such a tiny amount. People often use too much.
Yes,
right. The magnesium is a salt, so it will cause deform, it will cause stress. So I had another person ask me the very same thing. How many pounds do I use? I go, don't even think in pounds. You're kidding me, right? What do you have, 1,000 acres? Right? A pound of magnesium Epsom salts in 1,000 acres is probably about right. And you would have to dilute it to spread and spread it out. Some people actually take the Epsom salt, sprinkle it in the soil. But that's why, and then you have problems. So you always want to dilute it in water, dilute it again, and use it. That's why when I've learned from experience. A long time ago, I used to go out when I first started doing this. I said, okay, I heard that Epsom salts are really good for roses, so I'm going to put a cup of Epsom salts in 100 gallons of water. Man, that's not such a good idea. But you can take a tablespoon of Epsom salts, put it in a gallon of liquid seaweed or kelp or
Mm-hmm.
any mixtures that come from nature that are already mixed in. So I buy different kinds of rock dust, add a little bit
Yeah.
of Epsom sauce to it.
Well, I was going to ask you, what are you using as your binder? Like, what type of calcium are you using with your salts as the binder?
So I talked a little bit about this place in Southern California, which is
Mm-hmm.
30%. This is saw rock. It's a rock dust, and
Right.
it's called agramin. It's basically alluvium clay, which underground volcano makes because it's hot. In Southern California, in San Diego, there's a place. Can everybody hear me? Okay, do I need to talk louder? Okay.
Uh, you're good here.
Fine. You can hear me fine. I agree. I only use very little. Right. What a good way to add calcium to my soil, and I agree. I only use very little. So, this is a hot salt bath. It's a hot mud bath that the
Right.
clay was heated up, and it's really, really super rich in minerals. But it's 30% calcium.
Okay. So there's your calcium. So there's your cation exchange capacity.
Exactly
You're
right.
binding with the magnesium in the salt
Exactly
that you're putting in. Okay.
Exactly
Cool.
right. And so I found that I don't really need Epsom salts if I get a blend of the rock dust because they'll have the magnesium in it in the right proportions. A tiny, teeny, weeny amount is all you need in there. But if you get Epsom salts, you always are going to be using too much and you screw it up.
Yeah.
If you have too much of anything, right? But if you have too much of certain things, that's why it's called trace minerals, not
Yes.
other minerals, right? Just add minerals. How many pounds do you want? No, I don't think so. Right? So it's important to, and another person asked me this, gypsum is in the rock dust, right? Gypsum is a form of rock dust also. So you
Mm-hmm.
can get gypsum, and it's a type of rock dust as well. But ideally, you want to get rock dust. See, not too many people are chemists. They can blend all different things together. That's why I tell people it's better to have a blend of rock dust and then go that way with it. Right, exactly. Gypsum is calcium carbonate. That's where calcium comes from. But you have to be real careful in using it. Again, if you use too much calcium, too much magnesium, too much iron, too much in any of these things, they become toxic, and the body of the plant cannot absorb them, and they
Mm-hmm.
have problems. And that's where you get more and more problems. What really happens is the microbes go, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
The microbes are not geared to get tons of this stuff in their system. They go and they die. So you end up every time you lose the biology, you set yourself back.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
the way the biology is set up, it's not like Mother Nature dumps 10 pounds of only calcium. When it's dumping something, it's going to have calcium like the agriment. It's never
Micronized.
by itself. Right. It's never by itself. It's other essential trace metals that come with it. So
Yeah.
I do the agriment and I do the acimite. I do a glacier rock dust. You want to get a blend of many different varieties, and that's why C90 is so good because it's also a blend. If you look at
Yeah.
the ingredients in C90, none of them are any one. Not one of them is more than the other one. They're all very tiny, teeny, weeny, small amount. Even then, you still have to use small amounts. You have to think homeopathic. That's why I brought up the how to do homeopathic medicine, Bach flower remedies. They are
Mhm.
billions of apart. 1 billionth of apart is what you do.
Yeah.
See, and that's the key to soil health. Is you want to have it in small amounts on a regular basis, but a
Yeah.
blend, not any one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not any one thing. You always want to do a blend. So if somebody says,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's a good idea to add potash," there are certain levels of growth. And you know what I'm talking about, friend of mine, because I'm going to go add. I want some potash because now's the time to add potash to them so they could get bigger flowers, right?
Yeah.
And and that does work. I understand that you add enough to it, but then that guy's not getting an idiot. If he has too much, it will destroy his plant. But at the same time, I tell people you don't really need to worry about that if you have a blend because they will be enough. It will be enough to produce the flowers that you want. My growth produced massive flower concentrate, whether it be for fruit, vegetable, whatever, simply by catering in to all the right amount. And whenever you have because he also had on his plants, on his cabbages, the cabbages look beautiful on the outside, but underneath there are these things sucking on the plant.
Yeah.
Trace mineral deficiency. And calcium is always the key to the trace mineral deficiency. You don't have enough calcium, or either have that or you have too much calcium. Because I went to this place where you're storing things and you have boxes of calcium this and calcium carbonate and all this other stuff. And they're going, so you're adding that directly to the plants. He said, yeah, well, there you go. That's the problem. So, thank you. Thank you. Make sure to do the like, do the follow, and you can send me 20 million. I'll give you the address later.
20 million good wishes anyway.
So it's always important to understand that everything is a trace mineral deficiency. In human bodies, it's a trace mineral deficiency. In the plant, it's a trace mineral deficiency. And you can't make up a trace mineral by adding more of it. It doesn't work that way. You have to look at
all. Throwing it more out of balance.
Right. You have to look at all the ingredients and see they all have to be there. And then you won't have a trace mineral deficiency of any of them. But if you say, oh, I'm deficient in calcium, I'm going to have 5 pounds of calcium, then you're going to have a big problem because it's not going to help the trace mineral deficiency, so it actually makes it worse. So the key is, how many times through the grow season can we foliar spray? I would do it a little bit every time on a regular basis. My experience has been,
just remember, it's that little bit.
There you go.
Little bit.
There you go. So I do like 100 gallons of pure distilled water because of city water, chemicals in it, kills the biology, all this kind of stuff. But then in 100 gallons, I put in a cup of my mixture, a cup. And that goes into 100 gallons and I bubble that. I also have a gallon of the microbes I get from the worms. And that's all you really need. And I do my home customers, other properties, once a month, they get foliar spray. My own property, I've learned I can spray once a week, no parental, because it's a small amount. It's a tiny, tiny, weeny amount.
Yeah.
See, not like a big time. And no nitrogen. You only need a certain amount. Actually, you don't even need nitrogen if you do it right.
There's plenty in the soil already.
There's plenty in the air, in the soil, and everywhere. It produces that. The key again, it will only produce it if the minerals are in the right place.
And the biology. Don't forget the biology. It's the one that uses it all.
Right. If the minerals are not in the right place, the biology dies. If you have too much minerals, not enough minerals. Right. If you have the right minerals, then you still need the biology to break down the minerals. But if you have biology, you have too much minerals, you kill the biology. That's usually what happens. What does Canoflex say? I can't read it.
Ken, I have the same problem with you did dark green leaves with light spots in between the leaf veins. Right.
So these are mutations. That means that you have 1 or 2 trace minerals in a too high concentration. Those are clear mutations. It could even be the magnesium. It could even be the copper. Usually some of the exotic ones are called exotic for a reason.
Yeah.
Exotic. They're even worse. Okay, just think of having lead in your plants. You go, oh, we don't want that. No, you need exotic trace amounts. I mean, super just 1 billion.
Little bit.
1 billionth of a part, right? And not right. So that's why the same thing happens with Epsom salts, magnesium sulfate. Magnesium, you tend to add too much. You only need teeny weeny little bit. And so the key here is to think of it as a homeopathic method. And the homeopathic method, they try to give you a little bit of everything in the tiniest small amount. Here's an example. So I made a homeopathic tea the other day. So I got it from a plant. There are different kinds of plants that have different minerals. So I would crush it down and then I would make a tea out of it. I would strain it out. I put that into a cup. Then I would take that cup and put it into a gallon of pure clean water. Then I would take that gallon. Don't be a moron. Then I would take that gallon and dump it into a 15-gallon unit and bubble it again. And I would take that 15-gallon unit and dump it into a 50-gallon unit and bubble it again. And from there, I would take a cup, and that's what I would and I would put it into a 3-gallon unit and I would spray that. That's what I would spray. So you see how it got diluted more and more. People don't really dilute them to the right a proportion that is done in nature. Mother Nature never does anything in any high concentration other than it's toxic.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's toxic is it's in super high concentration. We human beings are very good at arsenic in major, massive concentrations. Lead, mercury. They don't eat the fish because it's super duper concentrated with the mercury, right? And
Yeah.
normally, fishes have mercury, just like they have arsenic and lead, just like we do.
Yeah.
Gold. You want gold a certain amount in your body. You have too much gold, you die. It becomes toxic.
Like we have gold in our hair. It's in
Exactly.
parts per billion, but it's there.
We use gold to make the pathways for the energy in our body, and we need that in order to transfer energy from one part of the body to another part of the body. Plants do that. The earth is very unique in that we use gold this way, but not only gold, lead, silver. You ever see you see mercury? You know what mercury is, right? The little liquid mercury.
That's what we used to have in our thermometers was mercury.
Exactly right. That'll kill you, touch it, but you need that in your body in its smallest amount, a tiny amount. You need
iodine.
Right. Too much of that, you're dead. But you need that in a small amount. So that's the key to it. People have a hard time understanding that what we want is a tiny, teeny, weeniest amount, rather than anything you can determine. So you deliberately have to dilute, especially when it comes to the trace minerals. When it comes down to that's why I like rock dust, because they already come in that diluted form. Even then, if you take too much of that, right? I had a friend of mine who bought 50 gallons of rock dust, azomite. He dumped 10 gallons of it in a raised bed. And then he says, rock dust doesn't work.
Duh.
And then he says, Steve, rock dust doesn't work. And I said, yeah, it works. Look, it kills everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And to me, I would have taken a cup. A cup would have been more than enough for that raised bed. And you don't really even sprinkle it in there. But my experience has been you don't want to add things directly to it because Mother Nature doesn't do that. Mother Nature always goes through the biology. So if I want to add rock dust to my plants, molybdenum. Exactly right. That is a super duper trace mineral. How you say it?
Molybdenum. And he's wondering if it's a molybdenum deficiency that I have in my the cannabis leaf that's showing the green with the lighter parts. I'm not sure if it's that or a magnesium. I'm not sure if it's a deficiency or it's something that's out of balance. I haven't found the right combination yet. So we're going to do some more folios.
What you need to do is look at the source. Sometimes you get a list of other minerals in there.
Mm-hmm.
You have to tell me what are you using in terms of rock dust? What are you using in terms of fertilization? You want to look at those things. You want to, for example, if you're using rock dust, not all rock dust have those. That's why you want to blend, because some of them are totally deficient in lots of things. The agreement does not have any molybdenum or any of the other super duper trace minerals. That's why the C90 is so good. Look at the C90; you'll see it listed on there. So if you're not using C90, even then you may be using. If you use too much, it will cause the same problem as not using enough. That's why you have to use
silica.
Do I use silica?
Yes, silicon.
Rock dust is a form of silica. So rock dust is a form of silica. The rock dust will have the silica in it in the right amounts that you need, especially if you get a blend of. Some of them are very deficient in things that you can't get. That's why I also went to C90. I learned by just getting the rock dust, I'm still being deficient in certain things.
Yeah,
it's not in there. Mainly because some of the rock dust doesn't come from the places where these minerals will be found normally, where Mother Nature is very good at distributing. Different parts of the earth have different levels of minerals in them. And it's amazing how it can go from one part of the earth to another part of the earth, right? How the minerals can travel. So it's always good. I used to try to get a blend of, one of the things that you probably should get is called New Jersey green sand. You know what green sand is, right?
Oh, I know what green sand is. Yeah.
This is called New Jersey green sand. It's available off the coast of New Jersey, and it has tons and tons. It has all 96 different trace minerals in it.
The only thing is, I'd be afraid that I'd put it into a test and it would come back hot for pretty much everything coming from Jersey. The
Yeah,
Jersey Shore.
that's part of the reason why I stopped using it, because it's definitely getting more and more toxic. That's why you
Yeah,
want to get rock dust from really, really pure, clean sources that are away from human life.
yeah.
And
Now,
even
I
though
actually Ghetto Hippie has a good point on this though. Deciduous tree leaf compost can be similar to rock dust without heavy metal issues in the mineral content. He says.
that's right, because the trees absorb the minerals, and they're found in their bodies. That's the whole basis with biodynamic system. They know that the minerals are in the plants. And once you know what plants to use, from trees to evergreen to whatever, then you can use that. You don't have to worry about the concentration because they're already in the right concentration. That's a
Yeah.
really very, very good thing to learn how to get. I think you're doing that. Are you doing a show about minerals and plants? How you get them from plants? Yes, say yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes, sir.
Right, and I
Yes,
love
sir, Captain Crazy.
what you guys are doing, because you're getting people who understand that.
Yes.
Rock dust is cool, but hey, you can get it from plants who are already dissolvent, already having the right proportion. You just have to learn which ones are better at it than others. And of course, the trees always are. In deciduous trees, that's exactly what they do really, really super well from the leaves. They don't go through trace mineral deficiency at all. For starters, there are
Mhm.
no humans around to destroy them as much as like in the old days. There's no humans around at all. The forest will be
Yeah.
rich in doing the biology. So,
Yeah.
and that's what the mycorrhiza and all the different biology does, is that they take the minerals, give it to the plants, and the plants give it right back. And you can take those leaves,
Exactly.
you can make a tea from it. I love making tea from different types of plants, because I've learned
Mhm.
that if I feel like I'm having, if my energy is low, my electromagnetic field is low, I'm not going to eat some rock dust. I'm going to eat something that already ate it. They already passed it on to me in a form, and that would be the plant. Of course, you also get it from animals, but
Yeah.
and nowadays animals are having a hard time just getting to the plants to eat it. So you find that, and especially if they're human race, they're not going to. The people are not going to give them plants that are rich in the trace mineral. They're going to give them poor food, junk food to eat, right? And they're
Yeah.
not going to be rich at all. So
Know
that
your farmer, whether it's animal protein, vegetable protein, whatever it is. Know your farmer. Know where it's coming from, and are they growing with biology?
right, exactly right. Because that to me was always been the number one. When I will go shopping, I go to farmers market. I talk to them. Did you
Mhm.
grow this? And what about compost? Oh, I make it. How do you make it? Do you know about rock dust? What do you use for minerals? And they go, duh. I go, well, thank you. Have a nice day. Bye. Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
If,
Oh,
if
see you
they
later.
if they sound at all conscious, yes, yes, we make compost, and we are totally into the trace minerals. We have all these amazing plants and these amazing trees, and we use that, and we have living soil. And I go, bingo, yeah. And the fruit, that's one of the tools, reason why you have a refractometer. Don't believe the guy. Give me a fruit. Put it. Well, you're a liar, man, because there's nothing in here. And there's nothing in
Yeah.
here. Where are you
Exactly.
going? And they don't like that when you say, give me a little bit of, okay, I'll put it on
Oh
the
yeah.
refractor, take a look through there. And you go to somebody else and give me it, and you see that difference. You go, I'm going to buy that over there. You
You
see,
know
so
it. Yep.
that's the only way you can bypass knowing the grower, because you're at the grocery store. You can't. Can I talk? Can I have the number of the grower before I buy this? No, refractometer helps you right there on the spot determine. Yeah, the guy knew what he was doing, because look at this. It
Yeah.
will shoot up through the roof with a trace mineral. But if you're lucky to go to a farmer's market and you talk to them, that's why when they say, I don't know what you're talking about, minerals and rock dust, I go, well, have a nice day. See you later.
Yeah.
You see,
See
because
ya.
they don't know, and you know that. But I always take a
Yeah.
refractometer with me, and I say, "Here, this is your stuff." I don't know if I remember telling you, but I go to health food places, conventional food, unconventional food, I mean, chemically grown, organically
Yeah.
grown, and I would take a refractometer with me and squeeze it and give it to the grocer. And say, look at that one, okay? Clean it up. Take that. Look. Which one do you think I would buy?
Mm.
you
Yeah.
know, and that's why it's so good about refractometer, because it bypasses people. They have to believe what they see.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's key to it. That's why you want to use the refractometer, because it keeps you on top of things. If you see something dropping mineral-wise, the numbers start to drop, you go, well, I'm doing something wrong. Usually it's the biology. Something's affecting the biology, whether it be toxic rain, some chemicals coming into the system, because you're always being the
The
biology.
farmer themselves putting on the wrong thing or putting too much
Exactly.
on. And yeah.
Exactly right. Constantly being attacked. Constantly being attacked. So a refractometer is really a good tool to determine if your biology is there. Because if the refractometer is dropped down to 10, the 0, I never seen anything with a 0 in it. Usually because remember the way you read the biology, there's a good, bad, excellent, poor. It's called PAGE. Poor, average, PAG, good or excellent. PAGE. That's how you
Okay.
the refractometer. PAGE. Poor is a certain level down here. Average is a certain level.
Yeah.
Good is another level, and excellent is up here. So
Yeah.
you always want to get in the excellent range, because you're going to be getting the trace, and also the plants are getting the trace mineral. Intermilitary history, the code taker. Yep, I know
And
about the code takers who contribute. How are we getting on the coded messages to the enemy cannot translate? How do we get onto that? What are we talking?
we're talking about gold and the gold in the hair. And in World War II, when the code talkers went over, they could sense the enemy miles away.
Oh
The
yeah,
military, in their wisdom, had them cut their hair, which was the connection they had, and that was where the code talkers came into the conversation in the chat.
if I have long hair, I would be like Einstein. I would be shooting out
You don't
electricity.
have you don't shave your eyebrows?
No, I do that too. I would be shooting out electricity. I would have to go sit in the middle of the woods, because I would be so. How can you not be? Because your hair is exactly that. It's an antenna. And
Yeah, that's why I'm growing mine out again. I
yeah,
mean,
that's
like, I
why
got
you're
some pretty
that's,
long
that's why you're
hair,
so
boy.
that's why it's so fantastic. You're so beautiful. But
I got
it's
ringlets.
true.
Okay.
That's how Samson. That's why the Samson, when they cut his hair, became weak. That was what the
Yeah.
whole story. That's what the story is all about.
Yeah, he
That's-
couldn't collect the energy and the that was around him anymore. He couldn't tap in.
So when I do that, I really don't want to deal with people, because usually their energy level they take energy from you. If you have very high energy, anybody comes to a low energy, their body's normally going to say, "Give me the energy. Just give it to me over here. Give me, right?" And after a while, you get tired of giving energy to people, even though you have endless source of energy. You don't. It's not the way they should be getting energy. See,
Yeah.
people. That's the whole theory of vampires. Give me your blood,
Yeah.
which basically give me your energy, and I'm sucking your energy right up.
Yeah.
And that's what a black hole does. Interesting enough, they take energy and convert it. Energy matter is the same thing for black holes, basically, which is that's such good stuff.
Suck you right in, boy.
So we have about 2 minutes left.
Yep.
Anybody have any? You got serious ringlets? Is that you, ringlets?
Yes, when I shower, I got these really beautiful little ringlets. Like the girls just love my hair, and it's so soft. And oh yeah, I used to get teased for ringlets all the time.
So next week we're talking about different methods of remineralizing soil using rocks as organic amendments. So I'm going to be
Okay.
covering to different ways so you can use rock dust on your plants, on your soil. Again, I want to emphasize, always go the little bit, the law of the little bit. That's my thing. Uh, uh, Leighton likes the don't be a moron, but I say use the law of the little bit.
Okay, well, the law a little bit. Yeah, yeah.
Law of the little bit. You always want, if you think you have enough ad libs,
Yeah.
especially when it comes down to trace minerals. And you'll
Mhm.
find that everything will be even more amazing. But you also have to learn how to use energy with it, because when you're growing anything, you also want to feed it energy, right? You want to feed
Yeah.
it energy, and human beings are very good at generating energy. I know I'm very good. That's why I do music,
Mhm.
because that's a form of generating energy. When you play
A
energy to
positive mental attitude
right,
really helps.
when you play music to plants, they will absorb the energy of the minerals if you're feeding them at the same time. It amplifies because the energy rides on the waves of that the minerals produce.
I know in my grow, I actually play birds chirping all day long for the plants.
Right, and that is a natural frequency that nature produces, like what
Yep.
rain, thunder. These are natural. It's just that, why do you like rain so much? It's just the natural frequency. I can show it on the computer, the frequency that it produces. And my brain starts harmonizing with that frequency. Next thing you know, I'm like tuning into the energy of, because the water, when they
And you're
drop the
dancing in the rain.
right, the droplets have this frequency with it. The water, structured water, when it comes down from the stars, from the sky, right? That is
Yeah.
structured water, and it has these because they're up there really close to the magnetic field, all this stuff, and when they bring it down to us, and you open your mouth and go pow, or the way it hits your electromagnetic field is really truly amazing because you absorb that.
Yeah.
And
it's the biology that actually creates rain at a different temperature than actually zero. So it's actually the biology that gathers the molecules together that creates the rain in our skies. Without that, we wouldn't have the rains that we do have. But on that note, brother, it's over the hour, so we're gonna let everybody go. Don't forget, guys, we're back to regular programming this coming Monday with the OG's Power Hour. We have Stefan Burns on again, our geophysicist. He's going to come on and be talking a lot more about energy frequency and vibration, the Schumann resonance, the Earth's magnetic field, etc. So that's going to be another fascinating conversation with
my
Stefan.
website there. Flash the website.
Splash your website, invisiblegardener.com.
Yeah, man. Let me know you're from It's the Biology, and we'll do something together, okay?
And actually, let's see, it was Mad Dog jumped over to your link.
Yeah.
And came back on and said, hi, all, finest, great information. Thanks, Andy, from your link as well, brother. So just right on that, Dog. Guys, like, subscribe, and don't forget to comment as well.
All right. Thank you, guys. I love you all. Take care now.
You bet. Bye. See you guys.
Bye.